Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again back here for week 2 of the W12 Sprint Series. And just to get some confusion out of the way immediately, this is not the Mercedes W12, this is the W12 Sprint Series. We were here earlier. Well then, for this week, joining me in the commentary booth once again is the one, the only, Kevin. Welcome, Kevin.
Welcome everybody, welcome Dan. Good to be back here with the W12 Sprint Series. I'm excited for another evening of great racing action on this Halloween night, actually. So let's hope the driving isn't as scary as the date might suggest.
Well, Kevin, why don't you tell them where we are at the moment? You might have spotted it on your screen. It isn't too big, but just tell them where we are and with which cars.
So if you haven't noticed already where we are in beautiful Japan. We are at the Okayama International Circuit. One of the iRacing classics, I would say. One where probably everybody has driven around at least once, I guess. Like maybe in an MX-5 or in one of the lower classes, or even in the GT3s. Always a great circuit to come to. It's got a little bit of everything, as we can see on the track map that is on the screen right now. A couple of straights, couple of fast corners, couple of very slow corners. Very technical last sector, and it should make a great race, especially considering the cars that we are driving tonight. Which are, Dan? What are we driving tonight?
I was muted on the stream. Well, here we go once again. The one, the only, the beautiful Porsche Cup cars.
Dan?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
also
yeah,
now.
it's it's a great car track combination, and well, this Okayama circuit, I think, deeply in the hearts of every iRacing racer, because it's a circuit that you, of course, go to in your early iRacing career.
Yes. Again, I'd say it's a brilliant track. It should make for some great racing. We are in the practice session right now. As we can see on the left, you've got the best times in the practice session. Scrolling through from the top 10 static, the rest of them scrolling through, and we can see the times at the top. Some very good times there by our drivers. On the screen right now, actually, is our leader in the Silver Cup after the last week, Benjamin Moser, from the Austrian Sim Racers from ASR. Doing a pretty good job. He's at the moment the second fastest silver driver from what I can see. Hugo Eckerson P6, but Benjamin Moser fighting hard to retain his silver crown at the moment, and now jumps down more or less. Somebody else jumped up. That's what I want to say. But now, still one of the top silver drivers here on the screen right now, Benjamin Moser.
Yeah, well, I think, by the way, we will go over every driver who's in the session at the moment, just to kind of, learn who everyone is, and, yeah, just talk about them for a brief moment. The man who is at the moment in first, Ben Hitz, really quick driver, as he's showing us right now as well. His car, though, is showing up really weirdly on the bottom left. I don't know why that is. It's only his car. And it has something to do, I think, with the livery that he's running.
Yeah, I've seen that happen with a couple of cars. I don't know, maybe it's some kind of setting that is with the livery, as you said, that makes the car look a bit weird. Some liveries have it, some don't. So yeah, some kind of technical glitch that we haven't, or nobody, not even SDK, has found the solution to. So yeah.
Well, we move on to a man we know very well from last week. There he is in the pit lane, Hendrik Augustin in the number 99 Porsche. a lot spoken about him last week, Hendrik Augustin, but yeah, just in general, I think he's usually consistent in all of the cars he drives, and showing it again here in the Porsche Cup car at Okayama.
Yeah, brilliant driver, second fastest guy on the track right now. It took a couple of minutes until Ben Hitz actually beat his Hendrik Augustin's time. So we should be expecting a lot, I think, from him also today.
Okay, then we move on to the man who's currently in P3, Tobias Kurz. One of the only ones in the pit lane right now, and I think, by the way, Kevin, that Tobias also one of those consistent drivers, and just in general, I think, well, quick in everything he drives, and that's a given with all of the drivers, or most of them that we have here with us this evening, as Tobias Kurz decides to move out. But yeah, just a given with everyone here. Consistent and quick in every car they drive.
Yes, with Tobias, just one little thing. Maybe some of you know that I am also part of the Austrian Sim Races. Doesn't affect my commentary, don't worry, I'm still trying to call it all down the middle. But I know that he is a very active Porsche Cup driver, so this car should fit him perfectly.
Yeah, then we move on to the man also outside of the podium, because Tobias Kurz now did as well. Marius Zug. I hope I pronounced that correctly this time round, Kevin.
Sounded good.
Crash ahead of him. Yeah. Marius Zug.
Marius Zug, yeah.
Great, I said it correctly.
You've done great there. Yeah, he wasn't here last time around. He's a new addition to the W12 Sprint Series. He is actually from BS Competition, as you can see by this absolutely stunning livery that he's got.
I recognize the livery from somewhere.
Yeah, you can recognize that. So we can be expecting quite a lot from him. Should be one of the top drivers tonight.
Yeah, also jumping up now into the top 3, and probably who a lot of people are going to take the fight to is our champion from last season, Mirko Bortolotti. Of course, still racing for the GasX Racing team. The team, if I'm correct, Kevin, that he made himself.
Yeah. Mirko, of course, the mainstay in the W12, one of the founding fathers, or the founding father of the W12 Sprint Series. So I guess not much, to be honest, to talk about him. We all know how fast he is in real life and in Sims, so always a threat for a podium place, Mirko is.
And we move on to the man in P6. We are only going to do the top 10 though, because we have 31 drivers to get to, even more, 34 drivers at the moment in this session, so we can't go through them in detail all. But yeah, Jonas Vana.
Maybe let's go through them a bit quicker so everybody gets their fair share of screen time. I know Jonas Vana, a man we're probably gonna talk about enough tonight. Surprised me last time round with a very interesting strategy that got him penalized, but always want to think outside of the box.
A good one with strategies is Jonas Vana. Marek Bokman, hope I pronounced that correctly, in the standard Porsche Cup livery. Well, Marek Bokman, I haven't seen him too many times in the W12 Sprint Series, or he hasn't stood out to me thus far, but at the moment in the top 10, you probably know more about him, Kev.
Well, not too much actually. I'm looking up the standings right now, because I can't remember everything as well. Can't see him in the standings, so he wasn't probably here last time around. So yeah, let's see what Marek can do this time around. Thomas Pieper in 8th at the moment. Also one of the drivers that are very invested in the planning and structure of the W12 Sprint Series. He's the one who does the draw before the races and helps with scoring and everything with the standings. So again, also there, big thanks to Thomas Pieper, and he's doing pretty good on track himself right now as well.
In P8 at the moment is Thomas Pieper. Ben Green then. This man, we know that last season, not the season that has just gone on, but the season before that, he was, if I'm correct, DTM Trophy champion, this man, Ben Green.
Yes, he's a very, very good driver. He's won the DTM Trophy. In the DTM Trophy, they are driving the GT4 cars. So
big slide on for him.
big slide there. So the next time we get into a GT4, this man will probably be one to look out for, Ben Green.
In P10, we have the one and only Hugo Akerson. He has actually changed his last name a couple of times now, so I'm confused, Hugo, here. What actually is your real last name? He's not the only Hugo we have in the field today, though, because we also have a Hugo Sasa, as this is the end of a practice. We will go through all the other drivers, and this is a promise, in the practice of server 2. So once we get into the practice of server 2, we will go through all the other drivers. We will take a look with the man who I think was, well, is also new, this man, and who I know is really quick. Josh Files always provides us with some good racing. I know him from the Platinum Racing League races. Josh Files really, really quick in almost everything he drives, and especially the touring cars. Sadly for him, though, they were out of the draw for this week because we had them in last week's server 1.
Yes. Yes, sadly. But you know, they will come back or sooner or later. Maybe next week again, maybe.
Yeah, of course, next week they will be back in the draw, but it's
they will be back. They could be back in the race as well next week, so we will get to see him drive in the TCRs. I'm sure about that. A little bit of a lockup there.
Easy to do though with these cup cars.
Yeah, very easy to lock up. I feel like the newer versions of the cup car is a bit more forgiving than the older one. But yeah, still a very, very tricky car to drive. Don't get me wrong there.
Well, tricky in the way of you do get a lot of understeer and oversteer in certain places. But I think, Kevin, it's time for us to go on board for you to show us around this beautiful, well-known circuit.
Yeah. We are on board with Josh Files, a very, very long start-finish straight, 2 very long straights on the Okayama circuit. So we come down to the first corner, 3rd gear here, taking the apex, drifting out wide, coming down turn 2 Williams. Also a very, very fast corner actually on this track, so one of the faster corners. Now pretty much all the way flat out through turn 3 here, the Moss S, and now to one of the a lot of hairpins on this track, down to 2nd gear, hugging the apex there, and coming down to the 2nd, so the back straight. Very long way here for slipstream, all matter of possibilities, into a very hard braking zone for the hairpin where we saw Josh lock up just a couple of seconds ago. So, and now this is like a hairpin sector more or less. So we've got the first hairpin there, then 2 very, very tight 90-degree corners, which lend to some great racing we have seen here in the past in the W12 series, some great action. And here another hairpin straight into the next hairpin, turn 8, turn 9, coming out to the final 2 corners. Again, very fast, right-handed there. We really need to keep the car on track. You have to watch out because everywhere is just grass and you can easily spin out the car, and then through the last corner back down to the start-finish straight.
Well, that's a lap around this, well, I would say well-known track of Okayama, because every iRacer almost has been here. And if you haven't, where have you been? Because basically the first races you do with the Ferrari Challenge, the MX-5 Cup car, the MX-5 Cup car, you always come to this track. Everyone has been here, and I think it's also a free track. As you see, Josh Files going up into P12 overall. Not too good. I expected more from him in the middle of the field, almost. But this man in the number 888, Mirko Bortolotti, proving himself once again here in the quali. to be in P1.
Yeah, I mean, he is one of the fastest drivers we've got in the W12 Sprint Series. 1:28.74. I mean, that is an amazing lap. He's taken out 2/10 of a driver that we sadly can't see at the moment because SDK is acting up again. P2 at the moment.
No.
Or it is acting up for me. I hope the stream is correct.
No, the stream
Yeah.
isn't correct as well.
Is
SDK, I
not-
have to say, it has been a little bit of a, well, and excuse me for my language here, a little bit of a shit roll the last a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Since the update, it has been really, really bad. So, yeah, trying to fix this right now.
Yeah, he's trying to fix it. So Mirko Bortolotti is leading 2/10 ahead of Hendrik Augustin, who we have talked about before. Ben Hitz, you can see him on screen there in P3, and Tobias Kurz, one of the big Porsche Cup drivers, I think, in this field, who very much likes driving the Porsche Cup, is in P4 in qualifying. With Thomas Pieber in P5, so a very, very mixed up grid at the top. I mean, a silver driver coming P4 in the Porsche Cup here in the first server. I think just shows how close the racing can get in here.
Well, and not only that, we know that this is a track that provides us with some close racing. It's not only the fact that as I think we do have a grid for you right now. Well, I'm gonna try and get it on the screen. I can't tell you what is going on with SDK at the moment because, well, no one knows. We do have a rolling start, not a standing start. If you could go over the grid real quickly for me.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go quickly run it down. So, as you might know, the grid sets up with all the heat races. The grids set up with qualifying. So first, third, fifth, seventh, and so on go into heat 1. Second, fourth, sixth, and so on go into heat 2. So Mirko Bortolotti, as the pole sitter, is sitting on pole in the first heat, ahead of Ben Hitz, Thomas Pieber, Marek Bergmann in row 2, Harald Blumer, Clemens Schmidt in row 3, Hugo Sasse, Josh Files in row 4, Tyler Klausch, Benjamin Moser, row 5, Florian Stadtmann and Florian Becker, row Florian in row 6, Stefano Pellegrino, Julien Rambaud in row 7, Jan Linsbenek Tochlatner in row 8, and Christian Meyer completes the set.
Well then.
As we come down to the final 2 corners, Mirko Bortolotti just waiting for the safety car to drive out, and now he dictates the pace. He can start the race whenever he wants to. Let's see how he does it. It's a long way up until turn 1. When does he start the race? Still going slow there. We are waiting for the green flag to drop. Mirko is really stretching this out. Now he's hit the pedal, and it's green, green, green for the very first race tonight of the W12 Sprint Series.
Well then, what a start has been for Mirko Bortolotti already, I think, into turn 1. Clear to go through that corner, single file for him. As we look now on into the first couple of corners, and still, I have to say, it isn't correct. We're trying to fix this. Hang with us, but this is nothing that we can do anything about here, basically.
It feels like at least the SDK itself, like the tiny screen we've got on our screens, at least for me, it looks correct. It's updating correctly and stuff. So Mirko Bortolotti is still leading race ahead of Ben Hitz and Thomas Pieber. Mark Bergmann we can see in the standard Porsche livery in P4. Harald Blumer behind that in P5. And look, they are very, very cleanly racing through there. No driver, from what I can see, has been chucked out of the race so far. They're doing a great job here. We can see Julien Rambaud versus Benjamin Moser going side by side through this very technical section. That's what I was talking about before in qualifying. And Jules is going a bit wide. I don't know if there was contact there.
There was, I think.
Julien Rambaud is not out, but at the end of the field, at the very back of the pack.
Well then, I think I found what what actually breaks SDK, and it's the driver info thing.
Well, then let's take it out, I guess.
That's the thing we're going to do. So yeah, hopefully it'll work now. One last reset, and then we should be good to go. There we go. Nice, here we are then. Hopefully now without a crashing. 4 minutes to go in this heat race here. Mirko Bortolotti leading the way in front of everyone else, and second behind him is Ben Hitz. Behind that then it's Thomas Pio, but the closest fight in the field at the moment though, Benjamin Moser and Tyler Klaus.
Yeah, the two ASR drivers battling it out for position 11 at the moment. But everybody really clean at the moment. I'm really enjoying the new standards of driving that we've got here, or not especially new, but you know, everybody really taking care to drive cleanly, to have a good race, and to not do anything stupid on track. Oh, I've heard a little bit of a crash as I was praising all of our drivers. Somebody's the wrong way around. That's the number 153 of Florian Stadtmann, who's been spun around. There was contact there, definitely. Or maybe before the incident or after, I don't know. We will probably have to check that out later. That Porsche doesn't look too great, does it now, Dan?
No, not at all. That Porsche from Stadtmann really hampered, but he can't go back to the pit lane. He has to hope that now someone ahead of him is going to crash out of something, because in this heat race there isn't enough time to make that pit stop and get back to the front of the field. So only 2.5 minutes left now. Not too long to go. This is the closest battle. Benjamin Moser and Hugo Sasse. Hugo Sasse gets past the gold drivers. Almost all gold drivers are now ahead of the bronze, but Hugo trying to get ahead of Florian, and then it's all settled. But yeah, the gold drivers showing why they're gold at the moment.
Yeah, you gotta say, with Hugo Sasse, who we are, that's Becker right now, I think that we're looking at. Exactly, Florian Becker. With Hugo Sasse just one sentence above him. If you don't know, Hugo Sasse actually at the moment ADAC GT4 Germany champion. In real life, I would want to add. So he's also a very quick driver, very young still, so still a lot of time ahead of him, but also already very successful in real world motorsports. So you can just see what kind of drivers the W12 is pulling right now. Unbelievable stuff there.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Once again, I don't think that has fixed it. Mirko Bortolotti, though, we're going to hang with you. We're going to give you as much information as we can. Is the driver out in front of everyone else? This is the battle between Julien Rambaud-Jules on the inside. Now switching back to the inside, overtaking Jan Lins. He's going to carry it around the outside. Jan Lins, though, with a little bit of a damaged car. As you can see in the front of that car, and he's going to go around.
In. Oh, and there's a contact. Oh.
That's
Jan
painful.
Lins.
And look at that is, like I said, Florian Stadtmann has to hope that people ahead of him now crash out to gain a couple of positions, but he now is up into P15. Jan Lins behind him and Christian Meyer back in the pit lane. Mirko Bortolotti, though, on the last lap with Ben Hitz absolutely in his ass almost, but well, hanging on under pressure here is Mirko Bortolotti. Not too long to go now in this heat race, both from Kazakhs, but I think none of them giving each other a present here. So Mirko Bortolotti is going to have to drive for it. The last couple of corners that is going through now, but I think this is settled here.
Yeah, I don't think Ben Hitz is going to try anything stupid right now. This is a very good position. It pays points, and you know you want to have a good starting position for the feature race, which you will only get when you also finish the heat race in a good position. So great job down there by both Bortolotti and Hitz. They've just carried it from start to finish. Thomas Pieper in 3. Also great job by him, ahead of Marek Böckmann, Clemens Schmid in P5. Harald Blumer in P6, Josh Files in 7, Florian Becker in 8, Hugo Sasse P9 ahead of Benjamin Moser, Tyler Klausch P11, Julien Rambaud P12, Stefano Pellegrino P13. Florian Stadtmann has done it. He's P14, so he's also clawed back 3 positions there. So he's now ahead of Benedikt Hochleitner, Jan Linz, and Christian Meyer.
Well, we're gonna see if it works now. We're gonna try and go to the result. The question is, though, is it gonna work? Yes, there it is! It's working! Oh my god!
It's so inconsistent. It's not like showing up for me at the moment.
Well, this is a local SDK file, this is, so this should always work, basically. But Ben Hitz, like I said, no, this is not the correct one, because Ben Hitz here has finished in front of Mirko Bortolotti. That is not right, is it? Mirko Bortolotti finished in front of Ben Hitz. Jonas Vana, I think, finished in P3, though, if I'm correct with that. Or isn't it? No, these are the qualifying results. Oh my god.
Oh, these are the practice results.
This it is. Here it is. Mirko Bortolotti in first, ahead of Ben Hitz. Thomas Pieber in third. Mark Botman in P4. Clement Schmidt P5. Harald Blomeyer in P6. 7 is Josh Files. Florian Becker P8. Hugo Sasse P9. Benjamin Moser P10. Tyler Klaus in P11. Julian Rambo in P12. Stefano Pellegrino P13. Florian Stadtmann P14. P15 Benedikt Hochleitner. Jan Linz P16 and Christian Meyer in P17. Then we go to the grid of the next race that is coming up. Hendrik Augustin will start the race from pole position there, ahead of Tobias Kurz. Marius Zook in P3, P4 for Hugo Ekesen. Ben Green in P5, 6th Pascal Haas, 7th Martin Stadtmann. Björn Ritter in P8, Marco Tyler in P9, Manik Heister P10, P11 for Sean Terry. Then we have in P12 Marcus Deutsching on the second. We want to, of course, get this start in the correct view. Then we move on to P13 Gustavo Xavier, Thomas Leike P14, Jonas Vana P15, 16th Lebelt, and 17 Charles Dawson. That's the grid for you right now. Here we go. This should keep working now, as it stands. If I'm correct, then it should.
Fingers crossed.
Here we go then. We're going to come to the green light here. Hendrik Augustin leading them away from the green flag. And here we go, green, green, green. Hendrik Augustin is the first one to lead us away. Behind him, it's Marius Zook, trying to overtake already. Tobias Kurz behind him, now overtaking Zook. And there's a big crash in the background. About 3 or 4 cars going off. And that's never what you want to see. Here it is. Ritter involved in it, Lebelt in it, Hugo Ekesen involved in it, Pascal Haas involved in it as well. And Manik Heister, in the end, a 5-car crash, but Hendrik Augustin staying clear of it all. Tobias Kurz behind that, trying to overtake Marius Zook, but not able to do so. And look at that behind now, Martin Stadtmann with a great run, Kevin.
That was the top guys done a great job at the start there. Look at how close those 4 guys are still next to each other. Tobias Kurz especially, gotta give credit to him as a silver driver compared to all of the other guys here. Doing such a great job at the moment, and really hanging on to the top guys there then.
Yeah, it's good to have them here in the top 4 with us. Of course, Ben Green, the one and only DTM Trophy champion at the moment in P5. I think he dropped back a couple of positions. No, he stayed where he was. But this man, Jonas Vana, up 9 positions here, Kevin, in a heat race that is 6 minutes long. Jonas Vana up 9 positions. That is big, into P6 now. Behind Ben Green, not looking to lose any positions here. Hendrik Augustin driving away at the moment ahead of the field, ahead of Marius Zook. Marius Zook now has a little bit of a gap back to Tobias Kurz. Now gaining back again on Hendrik Augustin. We know that Marius Zook is fast in the real world and in sim racing. What do you think is he going to be able to do here in this, well, 4-minute remaining race?
I mean, he's not too far behind, so there you go. He's almost side by side. I thought through this hairpin here. Look, just 1/10. He's so close to the car. So close to the car of Hendrik Augustin. He's looking for a move on the inside, and he's going for it. They are side by side. A bit of a contact there between the Impulse and BS competition cars, but Hendrik Augustin stays ahead at the moment. But as you can see, Marius Zug, he's really not one to mess about too long. Trying to get in the head of Hendrik Augustin ahead. And really trying to get past him.
Yeah, this battle is going on. Basically down to P6, Jonas Van, the man who is up 9 positions. He has a little bit of a gap back to Marco Zila, but Ben Green ahead of him is under pressure though from Jonas Vana. Jonas Vana probably not the qualifying he had hoped for, but already up 9 positions in the first lap. That is going to help his progression through the field. And, well, on the back of Ben Green now, can he make that move? He's close enough though to try and go for it. I have to say though, I like that livery he's running.
Yeah, it's a it's a very, very funky livery. I like it as well, to be honest. It looks pretty great. Love the color scheme and everything. And he's doing a great job of, as you said, I mean, 9 positions already in a heat race. Probably also profited a bit from that, let's say, chaotic start through turn 1. But look at those guys, all so very close to each other. And at the front, yeah, still Augustin leading this time. Marius Zug not trying anything through the hairpin. Gazik's car going a bit wide. Ooh,
oh, look at that up the inside. Goes Jonas Vana. What a move. Catches Ben Green napping there. Trying to overtake, I think, Martin Stottman. Martin Stottman putting him to the outside. And Jonas Vana thought, well, you don't have to invite me 2 times. I'm going to throw the car up the inside. And that was a beautiful move. Caught Ben Green napping. The door was open. And it didn't slam shut until he was passed. Jonas Vana up to P5.
Even though he had a bit of a sideways moment there just before he overtook Ben Green there, so unbelievable stuff what he has done actually. Going sideways and then overtaking another car. Brilliant stuff there by Jonas Vana. Now, Marius Zug has done it. He's passed Hendrik Augustin and up into, well, yeah, Marius Zug is up into P1. Now leading the race with just over a minute to go. Can Augustin make a pass back for P1? I can't actually see him doing it right now. It seems like Marius is really throwing the hammer down at this point in time.
Yeah, no, Augustin, I can't find where Marius overtook him because that's sadly a little bit, well, it's not showing up in the SDK file. But yeah, Zug now up into P1, the place where he wants to be. Is this the last lap is my question though? I don't think it is, because with 36 seconds to go, that is going to be easily done till the finish. It is going to be close though, but I don't think we're going to go on I do think we're going to go on to another lap, as we have.
Well, we'll see. 20 seconds left, just 3 corners.
It's going to
so
be close
it might
though.
be close. It could be actually the end right now. 10 seconds.
This is gonna be
I'm
the
not
end.
sure.
This is going to be the end.
I also think
Well
that
spotted.
we'll have to see if we can see the flagman waving.
There he is, boy the flag man, waving the checkered
it's-
flag for Marius Zug, who comes through to win Heat 2 ahead of Hendrik Augustin and Tobias Kurtz in P3. And well, let's just say, Kevin, the heat races are not disappointing at all at the moment.
No, definitely not. A little bit
Also,
of a mistake there on the screen. Tobias Kurtz is not a silver driver, so it's having problems with the team names and now with the.
we're going to try and fix that.
Yeah,
Tobias
we'll
Kurtz,
definitely have to.
he's going to move to overall. There you go. You're not going to take any victories, which you do not deserve.
Well, I mean, he's still done great.
Yeah, of course.
Coming in P3 there in this very, very tough field. That second heat was driver from the driver lineup, I think almost the stronger one compared to the first one, I would say. With Marius Zug, Hendrik Augustin, Martin Stadtmann, Tobias Kurtz, all very, very fast drivers. So that was a pretty good second heat there, I'd say then.
Yeah, look at that. it is now absolutely perfect. Tobias Goods is a goal driver. Marius Zug, as you can see on the screen right now, won in heat race 2. Henrik Augustin in P2, Tobias Goods P3, Martin Stadtmann P4, Jonas Warner P5, Ben Green P6, P7, Marco Zela, Gustavo Xavier P8, P9 for Sean Terre, who has some support in the chat in the name of Domenica Terre. I hope I pronounced that last name correctly. Thomas Leitgeb in P10, Pascal Haas in P11, 12 Marcus Deutsch, as SDK is doing all funny things. Bjorn Ritter in P13, Hugo Ekes in P14, Charles Dawson in P15, P16, Marnix Heister, and the belt in P17. Immediately moving on to the grid for the heat race, or for the feature race. There we go.
For the feature race, yes. Mirko Bortolotti won the first heat. Got pole position, so he's got pole position, won the first heat, so he's starting from P1 in the feature race. Marius Zug, that overtake on Hendrik Augustin moved him up 2 places. As we can see, he's in P2. Ben Hitz in P3. Hendrik Augustin, as we talked about, in P4. Thomas Pieber starts from P5. Tobias Kurz from P6. Mike Böckmann from P7, Martin Stadtmann from P8, Clement Schmidt starts from P9, Jonas Wanner from P10, Ralf Blumauer P11, and Ben Green P12. Thank you very much. Josh Files from P13, Marco Zeiler P14, Florian Becker P15, Gustavo Xavier P16, Hugo Sasse P18, Chanter P18, P19, Benjamin Moser, Thomas Leitgeb from P20, Tyler Klausch P21, Pascal Haas starts from P22, Julien Rambeau P23, Max Deutsch P24, Stefano Pellegrino P25, Björn Ritter, Florian Stadtmann P27, Hugo Ekeson from P28, Benedikt Hochleitner P29, Charles Dawson P30, Jan Linz P31, Marnix Heister from P32, Christian Meyer from P33, Matthias Lebelt from P34.
That was it.
So that was it. No,
that was
Tobias.
It.
Yeah.
Coming then to the green flag. And
we're waiting on it. Mirko Bortolotti.
This is yours to call.
Again, dictating the pace. He's just going very, very slowly. It's a long way to P1 to turn 1. You don't want to give the drivers too much time to get slipstream. And there it is, green, green, green. Mirko Bortolotti starts race and all the drivers just flocking out left and right. Look at how wide this field can get when they want to Mirko Bortolotti leading the field into turn 1. Have we had contact in the back? Oh, there is contact. Oh, that's a big one. That's the big one. Oh, there was a lot of drivers in there. And I feel like everybody is pointing the right way again.
At the moment, it looks like it is. Oh, Marnix Heister, we switched to him. And that is a big crash from Marnix Heister into the tire barrier. And that is him, I think, out with any chance of a good result here in the race. Yeah. Also, they're off as well. A lot of drivers are off. And a lot of drivers with damage. I think Blumau, who we're looking at right now with damage here on the back of his car as well. He got careered into after turn 1, excuse me. And, well, the only one who avoided it are these is this group at the front of the field. Ben Green, the first one of the second group. But what a tough start for a couple of drivers, and well, what a chaotic one as well.
Yeah, you can just see the gap. I've heard another contact there, and there is a car sideways. Oh, there's another one dropping down the field. I think it was
Thomas Pieber.
Yes, Thomas Pieber. There was a bit of contact there. And he's dropped down as well now. So the top, what are they now? Top 4 guys, top 5. Already a bit ahead of the pack. But look how close the racing is in here. You're gonna get a few contacts. We've got 34 drivers on track right now. So that's very, very tight going into turn 1. And we have another contact there through turn 1. Also in lap 2. So a lot of stuff going on right now. Let's look at what had happened here. A bit of an oversteer moment for Thomas Pieber going now into this hairpin. Oh, and he's just turned it. He's just lost it by himself.
Well, then he came back on track, and oh, that was a close one. That was the crash you saw a little bit earlier on. Another one for Marnix Heister as well. Let's take a look back at how that one materialized. Here we have it. Marnix Heister drive to the outside. Oh, that is some iRacing contact there. I think if we take a look back at that and we go on to the nose cam of Martin Seiser. I don't know who he crashed with, but this is actually a really bad camera, excuse me for that one. But yeah, we can see here that, well, it was a bit of a ghost contact from iRacing. Julian Rambo, though, already crashed before we got to the green flag. So did he spin it? Did he pin it on the outlap? Yes, he did. Before we got to the start, he already pinned it. And that is what you never want to do that. That is never a good start to your race, is it?
Well, it really isn't. A bit of a disappointing mistake by Julian, who's usually a very consistent driver, I feel like. But it just shows how difficult those cars can be to drive sometimes. Those Porsche Cup cars, they are very tricky when you're sitting behind that steering wheel, as is Clemens Schmidt, who we are watching at the moment, fighting against a Ben Green into this first of many hairpins. He's on the inside. Can he get a better exit? He's got a great exit.
Oh, but he gets a big stab on. He keeps it pointing in the right way, though. What a catch there from Clemens Schmidt. Sorry to cut you off there, Kevin. That was a big moment for the Clemens Schmidt. Luckily kept it pointing the right way.
Yeah, but he's lost loads there. I mean, he was fighting with Ben Green and now, so P9, and now he's down to P15, so 6 positions that he has gone down here. He will not be happy with that.
Here we go, Björn Ritter. Another crash here. What is going to happen to him? It's going to be the same as everyone else. Oh, he's going to spin it as well. So many drivers losing the back end of this car. This car is really tricky right now. Meanwhile, at the front of the field.
It's a Porsche Cup. What can you say? It is a tricky car to drive. I mean, it's a fixed setup series as well. Maybe the drivers aren't responding too well to the setup, which is a classic driver's excuse.
Always blame the equipment.
No worries, guys. I've got your back. It's always the setup. So yeah, but it seems it's pretty tricky to drive for our drivers out there. Christian Meyer here, also a bit bent at the back. A few dents, and it's a bit bent at the back. So that's what I wanted to say. But also up 8 positions, so also he has improved. Even though the car is a bit scuffed, he has improved pretty nicely there, I would say.
It's P25 right now. Actually, up 8 positions from where he started. The biggest loser is, of course, Clemens Schmidt. Clemens Schmidt, what has happened to him? What has happened to Clemens Schmidt? He's off.
He's down to 28, yeah. He's gone very far down there. P9, 19 positions down. That's the guy he was fighting with just like, it felt like just a couple of seconds ago. Ben Green up in P8, who is now chasing the Porsche of Thomas Pieber down the start-finish straight. It's all, how would you say, calmed down now a bit, I think. Very chaotic first few laps, but now everybody has found their position on track and now is trying to go for it. Hendrik Augustin, we can see here the onboard behind Ben Hitz, and yeah, he's doing a great job here.
Well, what I'm making of this is that it's a really car for a lot of people to drive right now. Jonas Wana trying to attack the both of them ahead of him. But it's not an easy car to drive, and look at that, Jonas Wana having to fight the steering wheel, having to fight the car on corner exit. It's a really tricky car. Don't forget, this car has got an update as well, and it's less understeer right now, so it has bite at the front, but it was always snappy at the rear end. So 1 + 1 is 2, which now means bite at the front end, a tricky rear end, a really oversteery car, and it's proving to be difficult for the drivers.
Yeah, I mean, I think just looking at our drivers, you wouldn't need an explanation, a very good explanation. By there, thank you very much for that, Dan. But you can just see those guys. Oh, that's something I want to point out. If you were listening right there or looking at the LEDs on Jonas Wanner's Porsche car, you could hear the clutch pulled. And so somebody is trying to save a bit of fuel. Thomas Pieper there. Going past a slow Gazix car, and there was a contact there.
I think that's the same incident as this one, Charles Dawson. Yeah, here we have him, Charles Dawson, moving over to the left-hand side to let them actually pass. Then he lets them pass, then he sees this happening ahead of him. Has to go off track while he was nicely letting them pass. And, well, let's just say he, well, paid the price for that.
Well, he was just trying, as you said, trying to let them... Oh, there was another driver! Sideways, and again. Marius Zug now, down in P6.
Oh, they're side by side!
Against Lippmann.
I didn't realize there for a second that they were side by side. The side by side moment between Mark Botman and Marius Zug. Marius Zug had actually dropped down quite a lot. I don't know exactly what happened to him. I can't see a crash or something. Or a spin.
Maybe it wasn't like a full spin, but you know, like a bit too far sideways, so he just lost a couple of seconds there. That's pretty much the only thing I can explain it with, because last lap 1:34.4, so 4 seconds slower than all of the other guys. So yeah, he must have had like a little bit of a drift or a half spin or something like that in the last lap to drop down to P6 behind now Marek Böckmann.
Well, then we're looking at, like we said, the man in P6, Marius Zug. The closest battle on track is this actually, the side by side, a little bit further back, Benjamin Moser and Florian Beckmann and Florian Becker. Who's going to take that? I think Florian Becker is on the outside now. Can he keep it there? Yes, he can, but he's going to hit.
Has outbraked him quite heavily actually there.
Yeah,
and he's just very easily gone past here.
I think the better option would be...
Yeah. Our Silver Cup championship leader showing again, if all of the standings are correct, which they hopefully should be, showing why he's in that position, because as of now he's also the fastest silver driver on track. He's in silver P1. Well,
Josh Fowles driving really slowly, letting everyone by. He's in P31, and he didn't only let everyone by, but he also let Charles Dawson past. So he actually lost the position there in doing so. A lot of drivers in the pit. Charles Dawson off again. Is that going to allow Josh Fowles past again? Yes, he does. And gains that position back again. And now the next driver up the road for Josh Fowles in P30 is Julien Rambo in P29, who is 38 seconds ahead of him. So without anything crazy happening, I don't think he's going to get back to him. Although a couple of drivers have pitted already. Mirko Bortolotti has pitted. As well as I think, well, if I look at their pit lane time, Marius Zug hasn't pitted. Ben Hitz has pitted, but only, well, his pit lane time wasn't long at all. So I guess that the top 5 hasn't pitted yet. Mirko has pitted, but Marco Zila, he hasn't pitted either. Neither has Harold Blomeyer, so this is the gap Mirko Bortolotti actually has over the man in P8, and that is Tobias Kreuz.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably far enough ahead to keep that. It will be interesting to see how the other guys, now that they have, Ben Hitz, Marius Zug are now driving into the pit lane. It will be interesting to see where they come out. They have managed to save a bit more fuel than, for instance, Mirko Bortolotti, but he is already coming down the final 2 corners and now just easily driving past all of them. Ben Hitz already stationary.
There goes Mirko Bortolotti, easily past all of them. Hendrik Augustin now up into P2. He has already pitted now. Everyone in the field has pitted. So no excuses anymore here. Mirko Bortolotti is your real leader after the pit stops. 5 minutes and 20 seconds to go. And your leader in the silver class is this man, Benjamin Moser, and he's 6th overall.
6th overall, I mean, that just shows how well he's doing at the moment. Because not only in the silver class where he will get maximum points, but also in the overall class he will make some good positions, he will make some good points. So he's done a great job there and is very, very deservedly sitting in P6 at the moment. Let's just hope for him that he can keep his car pointing the right direction, because as we have seen tonight, a few drivers have had problems with that.
Well, look at this then. Thomas Pieper trying to go around the outside of Mike Botman. Not able to do so. Behind him though now it's Ben Green trying to capitalize on this as well. Trying to capitalize on Thomas Pieper being out of position a little bit. But at the moment it seems like Thomas is not going to give that one up. But Ben Green looking everywhere where he can place his car. A little bit of a lock-up, I think, in that left-hander once again, or a spin. Didn't really see what it was there, but Mirko Bortolotti still leading the way ahead of Hendrik Augustin and Jonas Vana in P3. Ben Hitz in P4 actually lost 1 position, and Mario Zug in P5. We saw him have a little bit of a spin, I think, halfway through this race. Lost 3 positions at the moment in P5.
Yeah, he's a bit lonely there right now. Ahead of him a couple of seconds, behind him a couple of seconds to the next car, so he will have a very lonely race probably till the end. Benjamin Moser, he still has everything to work for. A couple of drivers there very close to him in his rearview mirror, but he's doing a very controlled job right now. He's got a bit of a gap, so he doesn't need to like stress himself out. And also the drivers behind him, Böckmann, Pieper, Green, they are fighting as well, so that's all playing right into Benjamin Moser's hands, and he can probably just keep his position if he just keeps his nose himself clean. Pieper going a bit wide there, touched a bit of the grass. Look at how close they are fighting through this middle/final sector which we are driving right now through. Ben Green, P9, still has been trying for a longer time to go past Thomas Pieper. Maybe now on a switchback maneuver. No, he can't really get it going there. Pieper also losing time, of course, fighting, trying to get past Böckmann in front. Switching between the German names and the English commentary, always a struggle for me. Will never get old, I guess.
Not the only
one. It's difficult when you have to pronounce Böckmann.
Yeah,
so German with the umlaut, and then just immediately switch back to English. Oh, look at Pieper, it looked like a bit of a drift there. Ben Green just couldn't capitalize on that. It's brilliant just looking at that. Benedikt Hochleitner there, what has happened here? We'll see, he's on the outside, turning in. Ooh, bit of a contact there.
Well, that was a weird one, let's say, because, well, he was giving the driver on the inside enough room, so it wasn't like the contact wasn't needed then. In any way. Oh, that was Ben Green!
That looked... Did he touch the grass on the outside? I'm not sure right now. It looked like a spin that you get when you're on the grass. No, he's just looked up, and then he's touched the outside. No, that's something else, I think.
This is earlier on. He lost a couple of positions already.
Even early. He's already lost a couple of positions there, thanks to a lockup. Maybe trying too hard to get past Thomas Pieper. And now we're driving to the scene of the accident that we were looking at right now.
Again locking up.
He's just lost it, locking up the car.
Well, that's a weird one for Ben Green. Not too happy with the car. Mirko Bortolotti now has started the final lap of this race, as the gap to Hendrik Augustin coming down quite a bit now. Half a second he's lost. on this lap alone. So Hendrik Augustin gaining time on Mirko Bortolotti, but I think, Kevin, this has come a little bit too late.
Yeah, I'm guessing that Mirko maybe has to save a bit of fuel there in the final lap. We know that he's very keen on trying to get the maximum not only out of himself and his driving, but also from his strategy. Whereas now we can see Thomas Pieper, maybe the final shot of overtaking Marek Böckmann. Again trying it around the outside, which turns into the inside for the next corner. And now Pieper, he's looking good at the moment. He might be able to do this on the final lap of the feature race. He gets past Marek Böckmann there with a brilliant move down the outside / inside. Maybe now the revenge attack by Marek Böckmann. No, Pieper can close the gap, and Mirko Bortolotti meanwhile wins the feature race here ahead of Hendrik Augustin, and completing the steps on the podium is Jonas Wanner in P3 there. Florian Stadtmann now in a fight against Tobias Kurz, who's dropped down quite a bit, 11 positions, Tobias Kurz there. So maybe he can get at least one back here through the final set. Couple of corners, a bit of a contact there. I think he could have had him on the exit, but that contact definitely didn't help him. Now Florian Stadtmann comes home in P16 ahead of Tobias Kurz, Howard Blumauer, and Tyler Klosch. Now Thomas Leitgeb is who we are seeing with him here on screen, coming in P20, P21, and Christian Meyer, the final car, still running out on track in P27. A valiant effort there also from him, plus 6 positions there, so nothing to be scoffed at. Coming down the final corner, and is the final car in this first server to finish in Okayama.
Well then, let's immediately go to the one and only result of the feature race. There you go, Kevin.
I think now that we don't have too much of a stress, I think, with the draw and everything going on, we can talk about it a bit more. Mirko Bortolotti, a pretty, I'd say, controlled victory there by our champion of champions, I would already want to say. Started from P1 and never looked back from there on. Just finished where he started, P1. Mirko Bortolotti again doing a great job there. Just not even a second behind him, Hendrik Augustin. Also did a great job, didn't he then?
Well, he closed that gap down in the end, down to, well, less than a second. So, yeah, I think we can safely say that he did a really good job, just in terms of keeping up with Mirko. But if he would have had a lap more, I think he might have had a shot at the win.
Yeah, again, we don't know it right now, but from what I know of our drivers, let's say it like that, from past experiences, Mirko is always one, as I said before, with the strategies, with the fuel loads and everything. I think he was just saving a bit at the end, and if he really wanted to, he could have maybe kept that gap a bit bigger. But yeah, still a great job from Hendrik Augustin. Went up 2 positions from his starting position. Like our next driver, who went up 7 positions from his start, Jonas Wanner in P3, completing the podium. Just less than 4 seconds behind our leader and eventual winner Mirko Bortolotti. So a brilliant job there from Jonas Wanner. Always delivering. He's also one of those guys, maybe not winning every time, but he's always up there. He's just always up there and doing a great job.
Yeah, he is. We're gonna have to go through this a little bit quicker because I'm gonna get kicked out of the session in a second, and that won't look pretty. So Ben Hitz in P4, Marius Zug in P5, Benjamin Moser P6, P7 Thomas Pieper, Marek Böckmann in P8, P9 for Florian Becker, and P10 for Martin Stadtmann. Well then, Kevin, why did you lead us through the rest?
Hugo Sasse in P11, Clemens Schmidt in P12. Stefano Pellegrino finishes P13 in front of Pascal Haas. Ben Green, P15, Florian Stadtmann, P16, Tobias Kurz, P17, Marco Zeller P18, Markus Deutsch P19, Thomas Leitgeb in P20, Harald Blumer P21, Tyler Klausch in P22, Sean Terr in P23, Jan Linz P24, Björn Ritter P25, Benedikt Hochleitner P26, the final one of our finishers on the lead lap, Christian Meyer in P27, Josh Files just a lap behind in P28, and then let's say pretty much non-finishers of this race, Gustavo Xavier P29, Charles Dawson P30, Julian Rambo in P31, Hugo Eckerson in P32, Manik Seister and Matthias Lebel P33 and P44 finish off this big grid.
Yeah, a big grid we have here with the W12 Sprint Series. Don't go anywhere after the break. While the draw is going on right now, we will be back with the races in Server 2, which, as we all know, are always a spectacle.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Yeah. Just the chat is still open on my side, so if you want to talk in chat, I'm still here and am ready to answer any of the questions you have, maybe.
Well then, welcome back everyone here at, well, as you can see, the Detroit Grand Prix circuit. The drivers are not in a GT4, I can tell you that much, so it won't be a GT4 all season long. As you just saw, flashing through the screen, the drivers are in the GT3, and on this amazing Detroit Grand Prix circuit, well, really difficult to keep the car out of the walls. The walls are really close, and if you want to drive to the edge of performance, this is where you want to be, right up against those walls, but just not touching them. I'm again joined by the one and the only Kevin in the commentary booth. Kevin, welcome.
Yeah, round two. Yeah, it is round two. That's not completely incorrect, but server two is what I wanted to say. As you said, we've got an amazing racetrack ahead of us. I just have some deep love for street tracks in my heart. So I'm very excited to see how this one goes. Motor City, as it's called, Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Isle. As you said, very close. You need to get to those walls to get the fastest times possible, and I'm excited to see how this one will go out there.
Yeah, me too. The only thing that I'm not excited to see is SDK once again playing up its parts, but yeah, we'll try and work our way around it as we always do here at Platinum Racing League, working our way around the problems. No problem is too big to fix. So yeah, while I'm working on that, please, Kevin, entertain the people. Yeah.
That's in my heart. It's I know it's not the best GT3 car, but it's the one I like to drive the most. So I'm very sad to not see it on the racetrack here right now. We do I can go through it for you guys. So we've got 34 drivers, and we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. No, again, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
About
12,
that.
13 Porsches. So almost half of the field is driving Porsches.
Lap time done. Lap time done. Out of the window, that lap is deleted. Racing on the outlap here, Martin Stadtmann with the number 66. Off, let me quickly see you. That is the number 66. To be exact, is... Of course I can't find him now. Hang on with me. Number 66 is... Marius Zug. Here we have him. On my screen he has a blue, black and white and grey livery. What a time! Well, Mirko Bortolotti, he hasn't set a lap time yet. He's going to come round to start one of his first lap times right now. And we're already almost halfway through qualifying. So Mirko Bortolotti, time trickling away for him here. And we know that it's a really tricky track to get your first laps in. Mirko will know, especially his best here, that it is crucial to get a banker lap in, to just get a time on the board. Then you can start pushing the car to its limit. But Mirko Bortolotti will know where the limit of this car is. We know that he races this car in real life as well. Flashing his lights for the BMW to get out of the way. BMW does so nicely. And, well, let's just go on board here with Mirko Bortolotti for a second. Into the right-hander we go now. Take all of the curbs. Stay out of the wall on the left-hand side now. A really tight corner to the left. Don't touch the wall on the outside. Gets a little bit of oversteer. That's easily done there. And then a double left-hander which leads into a very, very sharp hairpin to the right. And then we are back on to the start-finish straight to complete a lap around this Detroit GP circuit. Where are we? I am a little bit confused here probably with another track, but now we are back onto the start-finish straight. Excuse me there for a second, but now we are back onto the start-finish straight. What is Mirko Bortolotti going to do? Across the line, no purple sectors at all for him. We'll see into second, 300ths of a second behind Jonas Vana, and that is about as close as you can get it there, Kevin. Oh yeah, you couldn't hear Kevin. Well, Kevin has been talking for quite a while now, and sadly you all couldn't hear him. Oh, that's a big snap for Jonas Vana, and that's not going to be an improvement. But yeah, you should hear him now.
The top three guys, not even a tenth apart, but then we have a huge gap to Marius Zug in P4, almost half a second there, Jonas Vana to Marius Zug.
Snap.
Ooh, had a quite of a moment there.
That was a
GT3
big
cars,
snap.
tricky to drive.
And they just
then we've got Zug, Augustin and Paul closer to each other, and then another big gap. So really we have those groups of drivers who are competing at the moment, not like a tightly knit field as we had in the Porsche Cup car just before.
Well, let's just say for a second here, Kevin, that, well, in the end, Jonas Vana is on pole position. Doesn't matter how much Mirko Bortolotti is going to try and parry that across the line into P1. He goes almost half a second. 126.191. What a lap from Mirko Bortolotti, and what more can you ask for here around this Detroit GP circuit? Like I said, you gotta have that banker lap, and then you can start pushing. It's exactly what Mirko Bortolotti did, almost half a second ahead of the field right now.
Wow, that is just a sign of pure dominance. That was just, he just showed everybody what he is capable of. 126.1, 4/10 to P2. I mean, he's a second ahead of P6, a second ahead of P6. That is unbelievable, and almost a second ahead of P4. Just 600ths more, and he's a second ahead of P4. So that is absolutely dominating there, what Bortolotti did in this qualifying lap. Wow, I'm a bit, bit speechless.
Well, of
he
course,
is purple again.
This beautiful qualifying brought to you by myself, Dan Peoples, and of course Kevin in the comments. But Kevin, could you please say your last name again, because I don't want to pronounce it.
Kevin Ketzerl.
Exactly, that difficult last name that I cannot pronounce, with me in the commentary booth here this evening. Ben Hitz, though, has been able to do something about Mirko's domination, but Still, Kevin,
Not a
4
lot,
tenths of
not a
a
lot.
gap. Oh, Marnix Heister, I
Oh.
think, in the background around in the BMW, but, well, it's difficult to do something about a lap that Mirko Bortotti has just put down almost the 125, which is a really quick lap time around this track. Half a second the gap is almost 4 tenths. Jonas Vana, Markus Zug, Ben Hitz, Hendrik Augustin even, not able to do anything about it. Even, I think, his closest mate out on track in the real life world, Clement Schmidt, not able to do anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the gaps. That is just unbelievable. What he's doing to, I mean, those are, we have seen it in the races before. We have seen it last week. Those other guys down from P2 and going down, those are amazingly quick drivers that I, for instance, I couldn't hold a candle to them. You know, they would just completely blow me out of any race in any car probably. And look how, and he just makes them look slow. That's what it is. 4 tenths on a relatively short lap. I mean, 126 is not the longest lap in the world. So getting almost half a second there, or a second, to your closest rivals, that is pretty impressive. Hence why we are talking so much about it.
Well, Florian Becker is the one at the moment in pole position of the silver class, ahead of Martin Stadtmann, who at the moment is in P11. That gap, though, quite big as well. He is over half a second ahead of Florian Stadtmann.
Yeah.
At the moment, Florian Becker in that Porsche dominating the silver class.
Yeah, row 1 in the silver class, again, row Florian. Of course, Florian Stadtmann in P2 in the silver class. Martin Stadtmann, who is also in the race, down in P16 overall.
Florian Stadtmann, yes, excuse me.
Yeah, no worries. It's an easy one. We've got both Stadtmanns in the race right now. There he is, the second one. In the overall class, but at the moment slower
So Martin...
than Florian.
Yeah, so Martin in the gold class, actually slower than, well, his brother, I think it is, I think it is, in P12 in the silver class. Well, you spell it the same way, I'm just going to go for it. You take risks in life. If it's not, I'm going to hear from them, and I'm probably, well, going to get bullied by them. Yeah, Marnix Heister, also well known in this GT3 because he personally has made big steps towards, well, towards being a better driver in iRacing as well. Has found his way in the radicals, and now is proving himself to be one to look out for in the GT3s as well, of course, in the overall class. But touching the wall, I think, for a second there was Marnix Heister, and grinding along that wall, that's never what you want to do. Back into the pit lane he goes. Ben Hitz, though, the closest one, I think, to Mirko Bortolotti. No one going to get a time closer to that 125 mark than Mirko Bortolotti has at the moment. A 126.191, I think the pole position time is going to be here for this evening's second server. And what a time that is, Kevin.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff, and he deservedly starts this feature race, or the first race from pole position. iRacing wouldn't call it a feature race. Mirko Bortolotti, yeah, we've talked I think enough about his time. Absolutely dominating stuff there by the Italian. Ben Hitz starting from P2, 4 tenths behind Mirko Bortolotti. Jonas Vanner in P3, Marius Zug in P4, Hendrik Augustin starts from P5, Maximilian Paul from P6, Florian Becker P7, Clement Schmidt P8, Ben Green P9, Marco Zeiler P10. P10 almost 2 seconds behind the pole sitter. So again, just showing how big the gaps this time around are. Marnix Heister in P11, Florian Stadtmann in P12. Benjamin Moser starts from P13, Julian Rambo from P14, Pascal Haas P15, Tyler Klausch P16, Martin Stadtmann in P17, Mark Böckmann in P18, Thomas Bieber starts from P19, Gustavo Xavier in P20, Hugo Eckerson in P21, Thomas Leitgeb starts from P22, Harald Blumer P23, Stefano Pellegrino P24, and we can see from the gaps now that a lot of drivers had quite a bit of trouble getting a very good time under the laps. We're all already up 3.5 seconds there from pole sitter Mirko Bortolotti. Stefano Pellegrino again in P24. P25, Jan Linz. P27, 26, Björn Ritter. P27 is Markus Deutsch. Benedikt Hochleitner, P28. Hugo Sasse, P29, hasn't set a timed lap now. Christian Meyer, P30, Sean Ter in P31, and Josh Files P32. So Sasse, Meyer, Ter, and Files weren't able to set a qualifying lap. And it is a difficult track to get a lap, and I think just 9 minutes away from finish, half the lap didn't have a qualifying lap. Half the field didn't have a qualifying lap in. That's what I wanted to say. So it is a very difficult track to get a lap, to get even a timed lap down.
Predictions: how many drivers are gonna at least hit the wall?
Well, I think I'd say we
not
got
crash out by
32
hitting the
drivers.
wall, by just hitting it.
Yeah, I mean, I think 32 drivers, I'm gonna say at least, let's say 22, 24.
Yeah.
I think are gonna at least give the wall a little kiss.
Well,
Let's see how this goes for our drivers.
Mirko Bortolotti leading us away here to the green flag. When is he going to go green is the question, of course. The answer will be right about now. Mirko Bortolotti, green, 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 and you see the field bunch out. And you see them all way around, and we go into turn one. Mirko Bortolotti still ahead. Oh, Ben hits, and third behind him, Jonas Vana, but a good start for Mirko Bortolotti. A little bit further back though. Mark Böckmann side by side here in the Porsche. Oh, there's a little bit touches to the wall already. Mark Böckmann, in the Mercedes though, ahead now of Gustavo Xavier in the BMW, the Kazakh Racing BMW. 3 wide, a little bit further back, Thomas Pieper, Harald Blumeyer. Side by side into that corner, going really wide, leaving each other the space. You gotta be respectful to each other here at this track, don't you, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, hey, the walls are just everywhere, and they're just closing up on you quicker than you might imagine. I am actually a bit surprised by how well the drivers have come through this first corners. Just 2 drivers that I can see that are not driving at the moment. Uwe Eckerson, I think the driver we saw touching the wall just a couple of seconds ago. He's back into pit lane, maybe knocked his wheels out of alignment. So that will be probably his race over and done with. But everybody else has done a relatively good job. I think the drivers are, let's not say scared, but they do respect the track that we're on, and so they know that they can't really afford to make any sorts of stupid mistakes, because then your race is just it's just over. You knock your wheels out of alignment, then you might be able to hobble back to the pits, but in most of the cases, as we saw with Uwe Eckerson there, it's just a straight toe, and then that's just it.
A lot of drivers into the pit lane already. I think almost half of the field into the pit lane already. As we take a look back to the man at the lead of those pitting crew, Marco Tyler, at the moment in P22nd in the pit lane. But a lot of drivers opting for a really early pit stop. Mirko Bortolotti, the man out in front of the field at the moment, ahead of Ben Hitz. He is not scared at all for this track. He respects the track. He respects the walls that are around this track to, well, prevent the drivers from going over that track limit. And I think it's the best possible way to show track limits, because if you touch those walls, you can be sure your car is damaged, and you will take that, and you will feel the effect of that damage. So the drivers will respect this track. Mirko Bortolotti will go around once more, I guess, or will opt for a very early pit stop. But I think having that clean lap, he will opt to go around again, and I think it's a perfect time for our man Kevin to take us around the lap of this beautiful Detroit GP circuit.
Well, we're now on board with Mirko Bortolotti. I also gotta for a second get used to the track. So now we're coming through turn 1 there. Very, very tight corner. You can see there are a couple of places where the track gets a bit wider actually. But now coming into a lot of course, 90-degree corners or very sharp corners there. Turn 3, now turn 4, very short, quick straight, coming down to turn 5 again. Again, as I said, a lot of 90-degree corners coming straight into the next one. So right, left, right, left. Turn 6, and now back to a long straight there. Track gets wider again. There is, of course, would be the chance here for a bit of drafting, but not a bit of overtaking, because we get into, for this track, a relatively fast second gear corner.
Oh, touched the wall there.
We've heard a bit of a touch there. So also Mirko Bortolotti has kissed the wall there. Bit of a roundabout there in second gear. Now going down very slowly again, turn 11. Now we're coming up again to a bit of, yeah, you can't really say faster section, but it's a third gear corner, or 2 third gear corners 12 and 13, and now turn 14, which is, yeah, not really a corner, it goes flat out. And that was a lap of Detroit Belle Isle. And even drivers as fast as Mirko Bortolotti can't seem to stay away from the walls, as we've heard, I'd say.
Well, we saw the touch, we saw a little bit of a crunch on the right front side of that car, but it seems like Mirko Bortolotti got away with that relatively unscathed. He's now going to try and increase that gap down to Ben Hitz. Behind him though, Marius Zug in the Audi, a purple first sector there for him. So going quicker lap by lap, the driver's getting more comfortable lap by lap. And I think that's a thing that we're going to see in this race a lot. Drivers getting comfortable with the track, finding the limits of the track, finding the limits of this car. So I have a feeling that race 2 here at Belle Isle is going to be an absolutely amazing one. A little bit further back door, Maximilian Paul defending from Hendrik Augustin, trying to make that move back past. A lot of drivers losing positions. A lot of drivers have pitted or have opted to pit really early. So a lot of different pit stop strategies here, Kevin. And a lot of people who opted to pit early, not, I state, before the race started. So not during the formation lap. We have seen that,
yes,
of course, last week. And we do have a little crash to take a look at. And I'm afraid it's once again one of the Platinum Racing team guys. Monix Heiser, we're taking a look here on the PRL chopper. Into the corner we go. Does he touch the outside wall? Yes, he does. That's a weird
the wall
one.
Just grabbed him. Yeah, the wall just grabbed him. That is a classic iRacing incident, I'd say. You can just see him getting just the wall as if it just, yeah, grabbed him, just picked him and just didn't let him go. Unfortunate there by Marnix. In real life, I think that wouldn't have been any sort of problem.
No, not at all.
But iRacing has decided, the gods of iRacing, they have decided to award him with the highest penalty of all, which is just putting him on his roof.
Yeah. Well, you can see the car number 66, Marius Zug. The right-hand side of that car already looks a bit bashed up from hitting that wall. You can see it here. If we go to a left-hander maybe, here you can see it. Look at the right-hand side of that car. Looks damaged already there. So Marius Zug has had a visit to the wall as well. Very early on in this race. Only, of course, 8 minutes to go here in this 15-minute first race in Server 2. Mirko Bortolotti increasing that gap to Ben Hitz. And once again, like last week, I'm getting, my Apple Watch is saying, your environment is once again really loud. Your sound levels, as I said, have hit 90 decibels. Around 30 minutes of this sound can give you a temporary loss of hearing. So if you have your volume turned all the way up, I kindly ask you to turn it a little bit down, because it sometimes can get a little bit louder here in the commentary booth, doesn't it, Kevin, when this amazing racing is on?
Well, it just, we can't hide our excitement, and why should we? It's brilliant racing that we get to witness here in the W12 Sprint Series. So yeah, as you said, it just gets a bit loud sometimes when the emotions kick in, when they take over, and when we get to witness such great racing as we are seeing it right now. Mirko Bortolotti, we have watched him. He starts to finally, at the start of the race it didn't look like it, but he starts to get his qualifying dominance now carries it over into the race. Already 3 seconds almost ahead of Ben Hitz here in the second Mercedes. And the field and the gaps, they are getting a bit wider. Again,
into the wall goes Ben Green, though, in the BMW. Sorry for cutting you off there, Kevin, but that is a visit to the wall for Ben Green. He already had a visit to the wall, as you can see on the rear wing of that BMW on the left-hand side. Yeah. That rear wing has a kind of modified aero package now on the car, that BMW.
Bortolotti and Hitz and Paul Becker, they are all coming into the pits now. Wanner, Zug, Augustin, they have managed to stay out. They have managed to extend their stints for one more lap. You never know. The gap wasn't, it wasn't a small gap from Wanner to Bortolotti, but it wasn't too big. So you never know. With a shorter pit stop, if Wanner does everything right on his in lap, he might be coming back closer to Mirko Bortolotti.
Well, I don't think it's a case of being able to stretch that stint out. I think it's just a case of Mirko Bortolotti opting to pit earlier, because in 10 minutes, I don't think you're going to gain a lap of fuel around this Belle Isle circuit. Jonas Wanner, though, having to lift off for a second because he's got very close to the wall, and there's another touch for him.
Yeah, Marnix in chat, iRacing hates me. We have seen it. The iRacing gods, they weren't too kind to you today. The wall just picked you up and lifted you around. We have seen it live on stream. I'm very sorry for you, but it looked very funny. Oh! Now Wanner is coming into the pit lane. Zug.
Aaron Blomeyer here in the Porsche. Oh, touches the wall as well. Not a very he just turns off the track. Forgot where the track was going. But let's go back to the live action. Jonas Wanner in the pit lane. Mirko Bortolotti. Where is he going to come through? He comes over start finish now. Jonas Wanner is going to come out of his pit block right now. Is he going to be ahead? Yes, he is. But look at that. That's Jonas Wanner. Quite close. Has gained that position on Ben Hitz. So with that, he managed to get himself up into P2 here, Kevin.
And look how close he is. That one more lap, that really got him into a great position now. Just 1.3 seconds now away from Bortolotti. So he has gained quite a lot there in the pit stops. 29.6 pit lane time. Bortolotti was almost 2 seconds longer in the pit lane. And yeah, that pays off for Wanner now. But now he needs to get his foot down. I mean, he's already, as you said, he's overtaken Hitz. So he's already into P2. He's already gained this position there. But can he do more? Can he now find the pace to maybe get a bit closer to Mirko Bortolotti? It is a long way for him to drive. Not a long way to go. Just over 3 minutes to go in this first race. It will be exciting. It will be some exciting racing the last 3 minutes of this first race here in Server 2.
Oh, talking about exciting racing, a little bit further back, Ben Green once again taking a visit to the Belle Isle wall, to the Belle Isle concrete wall. You don't want to do that too often here, because it is at some point going to knock your wheels out of alignment. And once that happens, the car drives a lot differently. Clement Schmidt, though, so close to the limit as well of those walls. But Clement Schmidt, of course, having that real life experience, will know how wide his car is. And as we always say, I think, Kevin, you kind of have to race in a car as if it's an extension of your body. And that is how you try and feel your way around, try and sense your way around of how much room you have left to that wall.
Yeah, I mean, especially on tracks like this, where the walls are the track limits. You really gotta know where your car ends how wide it is, how long it is, and so it favors maybe the guys that are very used to their car of choice this time around, because they know exactly when they look out of theirs or when they look into their screens where everything is, where they need to place everything. And some, you can see this, that some cars are cleaner than others, with less scuff marks from the walls. As I would say with Tyler Klausch, who we are looking at right now, that car seems pretty clean still to me. So it doesn't look like he's had a visit to the wall yet.
Well, as we
I
know,
would
this
love to
Austrian
find
Sim
out if
Races
my
team,
prediction comes true.
well, as we know, this Austrian Sim Races team superior to all other teams, right, Kevin?
Yeah, of course. I mean,
For the people who don't know, Kevin himself
that's
drives
the
in
point
the
of
ASR
debate.
team as well.
That's not a point of debate, no. But one driver who is actually above all else, at least in this server at the moment, is Mirko Bortolotti. He has extended his gap again to almost 3 seconds. Dan, just answer me one question, please. How will anybody stop this man from also winning the reverse grid race? I just can't see him not also winning that at the moment, as far, because he's just so fast right now.
To be honest, I have no real idea. Mirko Bortolotti, I talked to him before we went live, and I said to him, well, what is it going to be for you, Mirko? It's going to be, by the way, really close with the end of the lap here. Is it going to be another lap? That's going to be the question. 8 seconds left right now. He's going to cut it close, but I think it's going to be the finish here for Mirko Bortolotti. We'll get to that in a second. But across the line to take victory in race 1 and server 2 is Mirko Bortolotti ahead of Ben Hitz and Hendrik Augustin. Marius Zog in P4, and closing off the top 5 is Maximilian Paul. Jonas Warner, what has happened to him? He's dropping down the order.
He's dropping down.
What has happened to
There
him?
he is. He's out.
He's out. Has he got a disconnect in the last second of the race? The man in P2.
What has happened to Jonas Warner there? Yeah, he's
No,
dropping
this is
down
what
the field.
happened. This is exactly what happened to Jonas Warner. Is it in the battle with Ben Hitz? The BMW hits him into the wall on the inside now for the last corner. The next corner to the right. Is he going to manage to stay there? No, he has a touch with the BMW. And this is exactly
my God.
what happened to Jonas Warner. A touch with Ben Hitz into the wall. And well,
then again.
that is Jonas Warner
iRacing.
out of the race. And iRacing hates BMWs for some reason. iRacing hates those, well, what do you call it? Well, oh no, those Lamborghinis, of course. How could I forget that brand? But iRacing hates those cars and just grabs them into the wall. That is just basic iRacing things. And well, we can say, Kevin, that, well, the game is quite flawless, or the simulator is quite flawless, but these things, they have to be ironed out at some point.
Well, yeah, I don't know if you could call iRacing flawless. 45 seconds left in the warm-up. So yeah, Mirko Bortolotti wins Heat 1 completely dominant. Not much more to say about that. Ben Hitz gets it over the line in P2. I don't know if that will be looked into again, but yeah, Hendrik Augustin P3. Marius Zug P4, Maximilian Paul P5, Florian Becker P6, Marco Zeiler P7, Pascal Haas P8, Benjamin Moser P9, Taylor Klausch P10. Good representation there by the Austrian sim races in the top 10. Clement Schmidt P11, Ben Green P12, Florian Stadtmann P13, Marek Böckmann P14, Hugo Sasse P15, Gustavo Xavier P16, Stefano Pellegrino in P17, Markus Deutsch P18, Thomas Leitgeb P19, Jan Linz P20. And do we have time for more?
Yeah, I think we do.
A bit more. Martin Stadtmann in P21, Thomas Pieper P22, Chanter P23, Christian Meyer in P24, Jonas Warner P25, Björn Ritter P26, Benedikt Hochleitner P27, Harald Blumer P28, Marnix Heister P29, Julian Rambo P30, George Files P31, and Hugo Eckerson in 32. We've now got the reversed grid race, so that means the top 18 get swapped around, so we can still see him there. Markus Deutsch starts now from a pole position ahead of Stefano Pellegrino. Gustavo Xavier in P3, Hugo Sasse starts from P4, Mark Böckmann from P5 ahead of Florian Stadtmann in P6, Feng Green starts in P7, Clement Schmidt P8, Tyler Klausch P9, Benjamin Moser P10, Pascal Haas P11, and Marco Zahler starts from P12. Florian Becker starts from P13, ahead of Maximilian Paul in P14, Maris Zug P15, Henrik Augustin P16, Ben Hitz P17, and the winner of our first race, Mirko Bortolotti, of course, then starts from P18 now. Thomas Leitgeb starts from P19, Jan Linz P20, Stadtmann P21, Thomas Pieber, Sean Terra 22, 23, Christian Meyer P24, Jonas Wanner P25, Björn Ritter P26, Benedikt Hochleitner P27, Blumer in P28, Heister in P29, Rambo in 30, Files in 31, Hugo Akers in 32. Ben Green starts from P31, I can see at the moment. But let's go to the action, because Markus Deutsch is about to start this second reverse grid race. 18 minutes of racing action. Markus Deutsch gets a pretty good start. He actually opens up quite a bit of a gap there. Already almost 4 tenths ahead of Gustavo Xavier. 3 silver drivers there in the top 3 at the moment. Hugo Sasse trying to get past Stefano Pellegrino. He tries it there.
Oh, big crash!
We've had a lot of contacts there. That is Mirko Bortolotti. That is a rare sight that he gets collected in one of those turn 1 crashes. And that is his chance of
this is how it all unfolded. This is how it all unfolded. In the middle of it all around, and then nowhere to avoid for anyone. That is a big, big, big crash.
That was a big crash, yeah.
Well, the inevitable happened. We saw the big one, and I have a feeling it's now going to settle down quite a bit. Markus Deutsch, though, still leading this race, but having to fend off Gustavo Xavier in the BMW on the inside now for the next corner. He will have the inside for the hairpin to the right now if he can stay there. Though, the inside will give him a good run, but the outside with the better exit, a little bit of a snap, though, from Gustavo Xavier. Can he keep it around the outside?
Oh, look at that! Brilliant racing there by the 2 BMWs here at the front. Also, our silver drivers giving us quite a bit of a show there. Markus Deutsch can hold on to the lead as for now, but look at the pack that is forming behind them. A couple of drivers driving into the pit lane. Pascal Haas, Clement Schmidt now in the pit lane, also going for that lap 1 strategy. Markus Deutsch keeping P1 at the moment then.
A little bit further back, it's Gustavo Xavier fending off Hugo Sasse. Is he going to try and do that? No, he's going to actually let him through quite easily on the inside. Not going to find it at all. Although the man ahead of him, Markus Deutsch, was in his class, was in the silver class, so he might want to now try and hang on to the back of Hugo Sasse, try and overtake Markus Deutsch together with him. But this is a chance for Hugo Sasse here to, well, try and take his first victory of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be one of the better chances probably for him at the moment. A lot of the very fast drivers still at the back, caught up in that first lap crash. Hugo Sasse, of course, he's also a fast driver, don't get me wrong there, but he hasn't maybe shown quite the full potential that he has of coming up to the front here, and he's still he's close to Markus Deutsch, but it doesn't seem like overtake is on at the moment. Maybe now with a little bit of a slipstream coming down turn 1, maybe not the best chance for an overtake. Yeah, he's backing out of that one. Probably the smarter move, lining up a move for turn 3 as he did against Gustavo Xavier, but Markus Deutsch.
They're going to go 3 wide though. Look at that, down the middle comes Gustavo Xavier. Like I said, we're going to try and overtake Markus Deutsch together with Hugo Sasse,
And he's done
and
it.
he's able to do so. A smart move by Gustavo Xavier, and that all started by the moment he allowed Hugo Sasse through. Markus Deutsch now also behind Marius Zug. Is he now going to try and do the same? And Juice over to the wall!
But Deutsch is in the wall. He's in the wall. That's how fast he can go.
That's indeed, that's how fast it can go. Well, at this point, all drivers have shown how easy it is to try and or to just lose the back end though. The 911 of course of Tyler Klaus now second in the silver class because of that incident from Markus Deutsch. But Gustavo Xavier, what a smart move from him to stick behind Hugo Sasse. Hugo Sasse also overtaken by Marius Zug, so he's had a moment as well. But that was a big crash for Markus Silla as well in the background. Here we go, Markus Silla. Where is he going to go off to? This is straight now coming up. Oh, into the wall, the spin.
He's just lost it.
Oh.
And, but he's not touched the wall there, I think. So if he manages to get out of there cleanly,
Also,
he will at least get out of it with no damage.
Also, of course, a part of these road courses, walls on either side, so not an easy place if you spin round to spin the car around and following away
He's
again.
a good place to do it.
Yeah, but that has lost him more positions than I think it would have done on a normal track.
Yeah, definitely. He had to take a bit more time there to get back on track. Yeah, Marius Zug, I mean, he is one. He has shown today how fast he can be. So, and he managed to stay out of trouble in that first lap incident, in that big one. So yeah, he's done a great job to go ahead of Hugo Sasse now, and now is leading the race and starting to increase his gap at the front.
Yeah, Lindsay around the outside of the BMW of Markus Deutsch. That Markus Deutsch BMW that is hampered, of course, by the right-hand side damage. We saw him go off exactly at this point last lap. And with that damage, just losing quite a lot of pace. Has been into the pits already on lap 3 of this race. But the man leading the way for the people who have pitted is this man, Clement Schmid, in the Ferrari at the moment, leading the way for the people who have pitted. Marius Zug, though, once he comes out of the pit lane, I think will remain in that first position. Into the pit lane now is Hendrik Augustin. He's a good benchmark, but also a big damage on the front of that car.
Yeah, everybody has a fast repair, so he should come out of the pit lane now with a clean car and ready to get going again. If we look at Marius Zug, as we talked about pit stops, with Clemens being the first of the drivers. Not anymore, actually. No, Clemens is back in the pits. Pascal Haas now, the fastest of P1 of the drivers that have been in the pit lane. He is 27 seconds behind Marius Zug, and looking at the pit lane times there, around 31 seconds there for a pit stop, maybe 30 seconds when Marius Zug will be in. So if Marius Zug manages to, that's the spin there by Mark Buckman.
For Mark, indeed, Mark Buckman, and he's around. And like I said, and that is the perfect parking spot. Yeah, that was the perfect parking spot there for Buckman, but yeah, probably will have a lot of damage on the left-hand side of that car.
Yeah, definitely. So where was I? Now Jonas Vanner has been in the pit lane. So pit lane time is around 30 seconds. So if Marius Zug manages to get another 2 or 3 seconds for his lead from Jonas Vanner, then he might be able to get out of the pits back into P1.
Yeah, Jonas Vanner, as we know, no slouch either in these cars because, well, you saw it last race. He had a beautiful strategy, a smart strategy, and always, this man, Jonas Vanner, always, we said it before, always has a good strategy, always thinks outside of the box. And he did that last time out as well, gained that time, but sadly, of course, lost all that progress in the last lap of the race with that contact with the man who is at the moment in P10, Ben Hitz, I think.
Yes. A bit more of a... Also one of the drivers who managed to stay out of trouble. Of course, he just started one place ahead of Mirko Bortolotti, who was, of course, involved in that big first lap pileup. Gustavo Xavier. Now Marius Zug is in the pit lane, and Hugo Sasse, probably everybody will be coming in right about now. The last of the drivers that haven't been in the pit lane yet. Let's see. Oh, Klaus stays out of the pit lane. Still goes on for another lap. But again, Vanna, let's see where Vanna comes out in comparison to Marius Zug. Marius Zug already leaving pit lane. So maybe jump over to Marius Zug or maybe Vanna, whatever, one of those two guys.
He's done it.
There he is already out of track, out on the track. So Marius Zug pretty easily actually staying in front there, ahead of Sasse and Vanna. Sasse actually jumped Vanna in the pit lane from when I'm not completely mistaken.
No, you're not. He actually did, but we're going to look at a crash of this man, Ben Hitz. Where is it going to happen? He's going to try throw it up the inside of the Mercedes out of him. No,
he's lost it over the curb. He's lost it over the curb. Tries to get out of the way there. Again, a difficult spot to turn around. Look, you just have to watch the cars go by. Yeah, TC off would be helpful in that case. A quick button to turn the traction control off to turn the car around. But yeah, Hugo Sasse, Marius Zug, yeah, now in the net lead of the race. And now Sasse has to defend from Vanna. The two Lamborghinis going head to head. Pascal Haas in the background, we can see him closing up again with Hendrik Augustin. So it's a four-way fight for P2 at the moment. Net P2 because, of course, Tyler Klaus is now in the pit lane, so now the drivers will be coming past him. And Marius Zug takes the lead once again.
Well, Mirko Bortolotti not out of this race either. He goes up the inside of Florian Becker. Or around the outside, rather, but yeah, easily done there. Up to P11 is Mirko Bortolotti, so not out of this race, Kevin, at all.
Yeah, well, out of the podium positions, I'd say. I think that one is pretty much certain at the moment. But not those guys that we are looking at right now. Hugo Sasse, Jonas Vanna, Pascal Haas, Hendrik Augustin, all four in a shot. For that illustrious, only P2 because Marius Zug at the moment just comfortably leading this race, 5.5 seconds ahead of Hugo Sasse, so he can just probably turn it down to, let's say, 95%, stay away from the walls and just get this car home without pinning it into the wall. But not for these drivers. They still have to fight at 110% probably at the moment. Hugo Sasse has Jonas Vanna in his rearview mirror. Of course, this being a street track, but as we have seen, not one of those street tracks where it's too difficult to overtake. You have a couple of good overtaking opportunities on this track, so there's still a lot of chances, I think, for Jonas Vanna to try his attack against Hugo Sasse. Looks on the outside here into turn one. We're on board now with Jonas Vanna.
He has a run!
Look how close he gets. Oh, what an exit there by Jonas Vanna. Coming up to turn three. He's on the outside. Can Hugo Sasse outbrake him on the inside? Not really. Sasse takes a lot of curb there. Won't help with the exit, and Vanna is passed. He is in P2.
Vanna finally passed again. This battle has been going on since they actually met on track after that pit stop, and Hugo Sasse now behind Jonas Vanna. Jonas Vanna finally making his way past, now finally can chase down Marius Zug. Is he going to be able to do so, Kevin, is the question. 6.5 seconds almost that gap, with only 4.5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Never say never.
Under normal circumstances, you can't really see him getting close to suit there.
Well, this track never has normal circumstances because,
Yeah.
well, the walls are so close. It's kind of like Monaco. If you hit the barrier, you're off. You're done.
Yeah, and then iRacing just puts you on your roof, and then that's just it.
Nico Bortolotti taking another one here, looking up the inside of the BMW of Marcus Deutsch, and past him again up into P10. So Nico Bortolotti working his way through the field. Next up for him now, as we look at him, is Maximilian Paul, but he is actually 3.6 seconds up the road. So
yeah, it could be a difficult one, but Mirko showing that it is very much possible to overtake on this track. I think that's the great thing about Belle Isle. It is a street track in all cases and purposes. Yeah. It has the walls everywhere, but it's still possible to overtake here. Yeah, you still have a couple of good overtaking spots.
Klaus at the moment, the 911. Well, of course, when you hear 911, you immediately think, of course, of a Porsche, and he is in a Porsche. Last week he was in a different car with the 911 number, of course. Everyone has the same number all the time, but it's weird to hear the 911 number without a Porsche car with it. So yeah, he is leading the silver class at the moment. Benjamin Moser, though, right up his gearbox to try and challenge him for that lead there. And, well, I'm getting it right this one, or this time. Florian Stadtmann in P8 overall and in P3 in the silver class.
Yeah, you can really see our silver drivers. It might be silver in name. You might think that they are just second best or not as good as the other guys, but you can see they can hang with them if they're on it. P6, 7, and 8, all silver drivers in the overall class or in the overall ratings. So not to be messed with our silver drivers. They are also very, very fast.
We're looking on the back of Benjamin Moser. I thought he got a good run out of that first corner, but not quite able to get up alongside. Well, Tyler Klaus. He's going to try and get comfortable now with driving behind someone. 2 minutes left here for Marius Zug to try and survive, try and not hit a wall. And then he will be victorious here at Belle Isle. Jonas Warner now closing that gap slightly, but nowhere near quick enough, Kevin.
Yeah, it's just too far. He's just too far ahead, Marius Zug. We've got Patrick Hen in chat. He will be there again next week. That's great to hear.
Indeed.
You will be glad.
Came in at the right moment. Let's say Mirko Bortolotti going up another one, overtaking Florian Stadtmann. Let's see how that one materialized up the inside. Well, just capitalizing on Florian Stadtmann, going a bit wide. And Mirko Bortolotti, even though he was caught up in that starting crash, up into P9 already.
I mean, look at that. He will be angry that he got into that P1 lap 1 crash, because I mean the way he's been driving.
He could have got a Grand Slam in server 2. He could have got pole position. He could have got the win in race 1 and the win in race 2.
I mean, he's got just. I think it's really important to point out. We can't see this right now on screen, so I'll just tell you. Mirko Bortolotti has got the fastest lap of the race, which, as we can see, is not too surprising. But he's got the fastest lap by half a second ahead of.
That lap is actually faster than his qualifying lap, because his qualifying lap was 126.191.
And it's not only half a second. I'm not very good at maths. It's 7/10 of a second faster than the second fast lap. 7/10 faster on his fastest lap than the next fastest car. So he would have been. I mean, we have seen how dominant he was in the first race. But yeah, he will be mad that he missed out on that one. He could have been a great one.
Meanwhile, though, it's this man, Marius Zug, coming across the line in just a few seconds. There we go to pick up the victory in race 2 here in server 2. Jonas Warner, once again, now he does finish in P2, and immediately after that,
style.
plums it into the wall, and another great crash from Hugo Sasse into him. It's what these guys do after a good race, so don't be like they're mad at each other. It's just what they do after a good race. That's how you celebrate, right, in a simulator?
Yeah, that's the fun of the simulator. I hope everybody with the direct drive wheels has taken their hands off of them before that. But yeah, that's the beauty of the simulator. You can do after the race is done, you can do stuff like that just for a bit of fun. And good to see that those drivers are enjoying their simulator time well.
Oh, George Files is not enjoying the time around this track with his Gazag's livery. Coming through in P21, actually gaining 10 positions from where he started, but Josh Files hasn't had the evening he would have wanted. And coming last across the line will be Christian Meyer. Well then, for one last time this evening, it's time for the one and only Kevin to go over the race results.
If you show me the feature race results, there they are. Marius Zug, a very, very good victory. He's come down he's done plus 14 positions to come into P1. I mean, plus 14 positions is great and all, but P2, Jonas Wanner, hold on to your seats, guys. Plus 23 positions. Plus 23 positions for Jonas Wanner. He's just completely I don't even know what to say. He's just gone past them all and just gone into P2. Great drive there by Jonas Wanner. He has really shown why he's one of the top drivers in the W12 league. Hugo Sasse in P3 can also be happy with his result. He's gone up one position as well. Podium position there for Hugo Sasse in the Lamborghini. Pascal Haas coming in P4 is also plus 7 positions. All of the top 9 guys have all made positions, plus positions. Hendrik Augustin also 11 positions up from his starting point. Tyler Klosch in P6 plus 3. Benjamin Moser has gained 3 positions. Maximilian Paulin 8 has gone 6 positions up, and Mirko Bortolotti has gone 9 positions up. Again, he's been on a complete rampage after that turn 2 incident, I think it was. Florian Stadtmann, the first driver in this feature results that has lost a couple of positions. He's gone down 4 positions actually, and I will stop with that because it just takes long. Florian Becker comes in P11 ahead of Harald Blumauer, who, okay, I might add him. He's also gone up 16 positions, so also a great job there from Harald. Mark Bergmann in P13, Björn Ritter in P14, Jan Linz comes home in P15 ahead of Ben Hitz in P16, Chanter in P17, Christian Meyer in P18, Stefano Pellegrino finishes P19. He will not be happy with that result. He has gone down 17 positions, but he's still ahead of Thomas Pieber in P20 and Josh Files in P21. Probably, or he is the biggest, I gotta say, he's lost the most positions in this race. Markus Deutsch coming only home in P22 after starting in P1, ahead of Gustavo Xavier, who's started just behind him and has come and just finished just behind him, funnily enough. Clemens Schmidt in P24 ahead of Marco Zeller in P25. P26 goes to Martin Stadtmann. P27 Benedikt Hochleitner, Ben Green. P28 Marnix Heister. P29 P30 goes to Hugo Eckerson. P31 to Thomas Leitgeb, and P32 to Julien Rambeau. Not what the feature results page says here, but all of those drivers are pretty much DNFs, as we can see by the laps they are behind. So, yeah, it doesn't make too much of a difference. There are no points for these positions anyway, so, yeah.
Well, then I think first it's time to go on to the interviews, and the first one into the booth is the one and only Marius Zug. Welcome.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, hi Marius.
Hi.
Yeah, great race there in the second, in the reverse grid race. It was the last race we've seen, so maybe let's talk about it first because the memories are still fresh. You've gone up 14 positions. First question did you manage to just dodge the first lap incident, or were you ahead of it anyways?
I think there were quite several ones on that one. I think the one in T1 was behind me, so that was good.
All
And
right.
then in turn 3 there was a little pileup, just a very small one where I just hit the rear of a Porsche, but just marginal. But yeah, I think the big one in turn 1 was behind me, anyways.
Okay, so you managed, you didn't have to avoid that one. Yeah, how was racing on this very tight and narrow street track for you? How did it feel?
To be honest, I think I expected a bit more carnage, especially in quali, in our Discord. But yeah, just looking at it generally, I think I tried, like, not in this race, but the one before. I lost the position in the pit stops. I mean, it's hard to overtake, other than you've got a big pace advantage, I'd say. Therefore, the feature race was a bit better, to see some overtaking because you had the quicker guys just coming through.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, I think if the car ahead isn't doing any mistakes, it's super hard to overtake. Basically impossible, I'd say.
Yeah, with you still done a good job at overtaking again, plus 14 positions for you. I'd say that is a pretty great start into the W12 Sprint Series for you. Already first week you here and already a victory under your belt. Maybe from, I'd say, a newcomer to our racing series. In general, how did you enjoy the racing over the evening?
I think, to be honest, I mean, I've been at the sharp end, which definitely helps for clean racing. But I just got invited or texted by Mirko today, so it's been a bit spontaneous to join. But thanks to him and thanks to the great organization, I think it's been a fun evening. Even though we're on Halloween and there maybe was someone on my bell already. But yeah, I think I didn't hear anything, and yeah, had a fun evening.
That's the most important part of it all. Everybody having fun. Yeah, I mean, just getting a call from Mirko, and the next thing you know, he's just winning one of our races. That's how it can go sometimes. Dan, do you have anything to add to that? Doesn't seem like it. He's maybe
well, I had
not.
to unmute myself on Discord and on the stream, so I had to take a little bit. But no, not at all. You said it all, basically.
All right. Well then, Marius, great first race, great first week for you from the W12. Will we see you again next time around?
Yeah, I mean, what Mirko told me is that we're gonna race until something in mid-December, and I'm planning to come every week.
That's great to hear. That's all I wanted to hear. Marius, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot
for your time. And
Thanks.
Yeah, congrats.
I'll see you next week. Thanks.
Well, then I think for us it's time to move on to the one and the only, and I think the last interview for this evening. Mirko, welcome.
Hi guys, welcome.
Mirko, first of all, you won't be happy, I guess, with the way race 2 started. But tell us about race 1. It looked controlled from start to finish.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I think we had a fun evening. Obviously GT3 in Detroit is a great combo. I really love it. But for the racing, it's a bit, it's getting tight here and there. And if somebody spins, then the chance is big to have a huge pileup. So this can happen. But yeah, we had some good fun. I think some good racing, and yeah, that's the main thing. I would actually drag in Florian as well, who is waiting. He won the silver class, so I think he deserves to be on the interview. And
Definitely.
I'll have to talk to other guys. So thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.
Well, then let's pull Florian into our room, Florian Becker, now in our commentary booth with us. Hello, Florian.
Yeah, hi everyone. First of all, thanks to all the organization, you guys, all the participants, so we can. Well, here's for us to have a good night of sim racing. It's not for granted. You need other people, also you commentators. So thanks for that.
Yeah, I mean we're always having a lot of fun, so it's a pleasure for us to commentate over your guys' great racing. Florian, so you have won the first of those two races in the second server. How was the racing for you, first of all? How was the fight in with the guys around you?
Yeah. So as I've heard, I've won the silver class in the first race with the GT3. Was a really good night of racing. The Porsche Cup was a lot of fun. I messed up qualifying, but had two really good races. And then the GT3 at Detroit's just it's a really great track, and the Porsche is handles really well. I mean, I think it is a really good car on the circuit, and I had a good qualifying. I had a few too many wall contacts that invalidated some lap times, but eventually I put together a solid lap. Started in the top 10, and there I just held my position, and I just want to secure it. And then in the second race, obviously, was a bit unfortunate in turn 2. I chose my line. I knew I was clear on the inside. I had a car on the outside, and the driver behind me obviously thought that the gap that was going to disappear was kind of going to open up, which was not the case. So he rode the curb, couldn't hold his line, and touched me on the left rear, and then we had that pile up, which was a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I guess that stuff happens on those close, very tight street tracks. Stuff like that happens. I mean, we have seen in the first race, I think, on Belle Isle, that you guys can that it can go both ways, because I think the first race was very clean. Everybody survived turn 1 very well, and then in the second race it just happened. That's just bad luck. But again, also still in the second race, I mean, P11 overall, but P4 in the silver class, so also nothing to be sad about, I think. Don't know.
Yeah, it worked out. I pitted after the first lap. Obviously, I had damage. I fueled up the car, and it was kind of spot on with it. I think I had maybe a lap or two too much. I think one lap, but it was fine. And then I just drove my race. Obviously, Mirko was coming from behind. He was much faster, and I also made a mistake in one corner, and then I just let him go because there was no point in holding him up. And we caught up to one or two more cars. I thought maybe I can still make it into the top 10. I was really surprised that actually I got that close, but P11 is fine. After the turn 1 pileup, it's a good result.
Yeah, definitely. So maybe from your point, how did you enjoy the racing tonight, standards and everything? How was it from a driver's perspective? Because me and Dan, we can talk about it all day long, what we see, but how was it from inside the cockpit for you guys?
Actually, it was really good. I mean, TCR last week was a bit of a mess, but Porsche Cup, both races were very high standard, at least where I was driving. So it was close racing, but no dive bombing, no stupid moves. So the Porsche Cup races were really enjoyable, like cup racing as you like it, as it should be. And then the GT3 race obviously was a bit of a procession, but the qualifying was really great. Again, just as it was Snetterton with the GT4 last week, everybody was paying attention, no one getting in the way. So that's also, speaks for the whole grid, that in an open qualifying session on a street circuit like this, you can have clean laps, because I ruined all my laps myself. No one got in the way or anything. I just got a bit under pressure because I brushed the wall too much. But it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, that is of course a great insight into the driver's mind and what you guys are seeing there out on track. Florian, again, congrats for victory in the first race, in the main race, as we like to call it, for the W12. And also congrats on a good P4 in the silver class in the second race. So overall a great job tonight from you, Florian. We hope to see you again next week.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll be there next Monday. See you there.
Bye bye. And for our final interview guest, because we have one more guy waiting in the press conference room, it's P3 in the second server in the final race. It's Hugo Sasse.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Hugo. So P3 in the final in the reverse grid race. You were leading a couple of laps at the beginning. So how was the race for you?
Yeah, it was surely quite nice race. I've started P4, I think, in the reverse grid. Yeah, my pace was not perfect because I've been out of sim racing quite a long time. I think 8 months or 7 months. But yeah, was really a lot of fun. I was leading the race at the beginning, but I had an off track, and Marius just passed me, and Jonas was just way faster, so I let him go, and finished P3. Was a really fun race.
Was, I think, still a great result. How was the race on a tight street track as we have it here in Detroit? How was the race for you from that point of view? Did it all go well, or did the walls come too close on certain occasions?
Yeah, sometimes the walls just came too close. I had two contacts where I just damaged the car a little bit. But overall, it was really fair racing, to be honest, on that street circuit, what I didn't expect. So, thanks to the other drivers, it was really nice to drive. And hopefully we have more nice races like this next week.
So, as you say, next week, so you have been out of sim racing, but I hope we will see you more often in the following weeks. Is that something we can look forward to?
Yeah, I definitely looking forward. I need to check if I have time, but if I have time, I will be there for sure.
All right. And on this occasion, because why not? Also, congrats on your real life achievement of becoming GT4 ADAC GT4 champions.
Thank you.
So we've got some real racing, high class racing here in the W12, as with Hugo. Thank you very much for your time and great racing tonight.
Yep. Thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye. So that was all of the drivers that want to talk to us, and I think it's time to wrap it up. I think it's time to wrap this whole thing up.
Kevin, 3 last words, just like last week. What are your 3 words for this evening?
I'd say chaotic, dominant, and tactical.
Well, there we go. Those are the 3 words for this week. I'm going to thank you once again for watching, everyone. If you did and you stuck with us, of course, don't forget to subscribe. Be sure you smash that like button. If you are still here and you like the stream, be sure to smash that like button. Turn on the bell because you don't want to miss it when we go live next week. And thank you all for watching.
You don't want to miss all the great stuff that is coming on this channel. Not only the W12, but Platinum Racing League has got a lot of great stuff that you should be looking forward to. So definitely subscribe, because you will not regret that decision. You've got great racing action always here on this channel.
Yeah. Well, I think for us now it's time to wrap it up. From all W12 people that are behind the screens working on this, thank you for watching. From all Platinum Racing League members, thank you for watching. And from all the drivers who are out on track fighting their way through the field and keeping on to their positions, thank you for watching. And from me and Kevin, till next week, and stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.